Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts Stevie and Larry. And on today's episode, it's a doozy. But before that, Stevie, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm not good, not too bad, but I'm average, if that makes sense. But I'm okay. How are you, Larry?
All things considered, it's average. It's average. That's good. And as long as once it slips to below average, then it becomes a problem. So, you know, I'm glad that it's just, we'll stick with average for the time being. But obviously it is a doozy because we didn't actually get to do a post-Everton roundup review chat. So because, you know, life happens, and then that's the bullshit about it, really. And I really, it was probably one of the only episodes that we both wanted to do, right? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously of what happened in the Everton match. But before we get into that, though, I think we'll close it up with that. We did have another Champions League match. It was the second leg against Bayer Leverkusen, and hey, look, man. At the end of the day, we are through. But before we dive a little deeper, what do you make of it overall? Like as a second leg, did you feel confident going into it?
Yeah. Look, don't get me wrong. Bayer Leverkusen are no mugs, and they really proved that last night. They had quite a lot of dominant possession. They were good without being clinical, if you know what I mean. I thought, you know, the possession was really good. It was a typical kind of who kind of like them to in the Premiership. I mean, I wouldn't say City-esque because it didn't really. I think City do press a lot better, and they just reminded us a bit of us, really, if that makes sense. Where they like to keep possession and don't really do much up front, a bit like us, really. But I thought it was a bit of a tricky test. I always felt confident because we were at home, and I thought once our passing and everything sort of kicked into gear, I thought we'd cause problems. And I thought, you know, there's certain players that we will talk about, but yeah, I thought it was a really good performance. Certain players probably excelled. I can think of 3 players. I think I did mention them to you. They were like my outstanding players of the match. But yeah, I thought overall confident, really. And it was a nice. I mean, it could have probably been more. They could have scored as well. I think they had a couple of chances that were a bit nerve-wracking at times. But we should have been a bit more. I think we did have. It was 2-0 at the end. I think you did predict that. And it should have been probably more, but overall, I'm really happy with the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Okay, I think I maybe have to tone that a little bit down, but it is 6-2 now, by the way. So just
I know. I could hear the cheese in the background.
Incredible. Newcastle had a good run, but you know that's the end of that. So that's all she wrote for them, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. It looks
like certain teams are peaking, like PSG are peaking now, Barca are peaking now. Maybe we'll peak in the semis or final.
I'm hoping you're kind of right, because I mean, look, Chelsea against PSG real quick, it was more of a demolition. I know that they kind of sort of, you know, came back in the first leg 2-2 sort of thing, but then that was, you know, they put an end to that real quick. And then in the second leg, it just shows the difference in management, like in managerial sort of knowledge. It's Luis Enrique versus, you know, Rafinha, for God's sake. So, you know, tactical differences there, and the maturity of the team as well. Whereas, you know, we've seen Chelsea in the Champions League. They're not really a good team to watch. They can be dangerous because they've got some dangerous players. They can get a little bit lucky as well, but you know they're not a good team to really watch. And then you throw PSG in there. They've got attackers, and Kvaratskhelia, which I'm pretty sure he's going to be peppered in throughout this whole episode. He was fantastic for them, and what a player, by the way. So, but yeah, sorry, yeah, going back to us. Yeah. In terms of the lineup, Stevie, like real quick, is there any surprises for you when the lineup was announced?
Yeah, because I wanted to see Madueke personally. I was a bit surprised with Trossard. I didn't think he'd get his start, but obviously he's back to fitness, and we want to see him ready for Sunday. But But I was more surprised at Madueke after his performance against Leverkusen last week and also against Everton. I thought he deserved it, really. He deserved a start. But a bit surprised to see Benny Blanco in there as well. I thought he looked rusty. I thought Mosquera might have started, but hey-ho, we won. But yeah, they're them two, really, for me. Three, sorry.
Yeah, I think Ben White was probably, on everyone's sort of mind, thinking, "Wow, he's actually started." But I mean, with Ben White, we saw against Everton, he put Mosquera on once our boy Timber got injured, and I don't know. Maybe obviously we didn't get a chance to discuss it, but I did make notes about that. Just sort of, it's an interesting sort of change. Why not bring Ben White in? Was it, there's arguments made that there's a falling out with the coaching staff or with Arteta himself. But there's other arguments out there that obviously he's not up to full fitness yet. So why risk him in a game like that against Everton? Or maybe because Mosquera came on with an hour to go? Was it an hour to go or something like that?
It was quite like 25 minutes, wasn't it? In or something like that.
I was going to say, so Timber he got injured quite early. So what was that? 38th minute. So he got injured 38th minute, and maybe Ben White wasn't fit to play the rest of the match, for that long. Maybe if it was the last 15 minutes, maybe yes, he could have been on. But what do you make of that? Like, is there something there, or are we just like maybe as fans we're speculating a bit too much, and it could just be he's not fit?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he comes across like he's got a bit of an attitude, Benny Blanco. I don't know about what your thoughts are on him. Some big head, tattoos, eyebrows plucked. It's like it's either he's got a bit of an issue or he is not match fit. So they're trying to have, obviously Timber's injured. And we don't know how serious it is. So it's like, we know Madueke, we know, what's he called? The other defender.
Timber, White. Mosquera.
Mosquera,
yeah.
We know Mosquera can play there.
Yep.
But obviously with Benny Blanco, because he's not really getting regular football and we've got, quite a few important games coming up, maybe he's trying to integrate both of them into a right back position in the future, if there's a future scenario like we have now with Timber injured. So I don't know. We won't know whether he has got an attitude problem or whether he's not match fit. So they try to, he's trying to integrate them both in. I'd like to think that there's no issue. Because obviously we do need every single player right to the end of the season, as we've just seen with obviously Tim's injury. But I don't know what do you think? Do you think it's a sort of a fitness issue?
I think him starting the Champions League match sort of answers that question, in all fairness. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's like, okay, I didn't really want to put you on in that Everton match because I was specifically saving your fitness for this Champions League match. So I think him starting, and I think he finished the match, didn't he? Did he come off? I can't remember. Hold on, let me just... Did he come off?
Yeah, he come off.
Yeah, he must have come off. Yeah, he must have. Yeah, for Mosquera at 69th minute. So that to me just says that it's more of a fitness conversation rather than a bad attitude conversation. I get what you're saying though, the way that he looks, it could be perceived that way, but I don't know. I mean, you watched him in that I know you didn't watch the Arsenal documentary on Amazon Prime, but he just seems like a normal dude, you know what I mean?
I hope I'm going to watch that this year when we win something, if we win something.
It's fine. I've already forgotten it, so yeah, if we do win, I'll probably end up watching it myself, but my point is that he just seems like a normal sort of guy. Like, I don't think there's any sort of attitude issues there, but it could be something that he's thinking, well, I was top dog here, but obviously Timber is in now. He's been fantastic for a couple of seasons. Mosquera's obviously, he can do a job there. You could potentially even throw Nkapia in there as well in reality, because Nkapia can literally play across that back line. I think he's very good as well. But yeah, with Benny, I think it's more of a fitness issue, and the question was kind of answered in the Champions League match. that's the way I look at it anyway, and I'm hoping that is the case because we do like Benny. He's a very good. He's been a very good player for us. When he's, even with Saka, he links up very well, and
he does.
So there's other. It's like a domino effect when you slot him back in. It's like other parts of the machine start working, and that includes Bukayo Saka, which. It's not an excuse or a justification for Saka, but it does help when you've got someone who can play in there, and obviously missing Odegaard as well. It's like, well, okay, that's fine. We understand that you were great there with them guys, but now you need to adapt. Do you know what I mean? And I think Benny needs to adapt as well with potentially even playing with a Madueke and not sort of doing the overlap but cutting in because Madueke loves the overlap and so on. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought it was a bit of an interesting topic about Ben White and the speculation out there, but yeah, like I said, personally I just think it's fitness. So okay. But yeah, so we started, like I said, I watched the match in dribs and drabs, so I'm not the best person to sort of say if we were dominant or not, but from what I saw, we kind of just sort of, it was more of a calm domination. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of like, okay, let's just put our foot on the neck here, let's just calm it down and get our goals. How did you see it? Watching the full match, how did you see it? Like from the start, like was there something that stood out to you that you thought, like, one way or the other?
No, not really. I think like I have just recently said, the midfield was nice. It was a nice balance. I thought obviously you had Zubimendi in the holding role with Rice and Eze in front, and obviously in the front three. I thought we did play really, really well. I thought we linked up, quite well, considering whether that's got anything to do with the Champions League, that the opposition is going to come out as opposed to playing against Premiership opposition week in, week out, barring the big 2, 3, 4 teams in there. It's always kind of sat back and it's a low block. And when I think about it, when you think about this, the Premiership, and it's a long season, right? And maybe they've got all these analysts that study things like this, and maybe they think, look, there's 20 teams in the Premiership, and 3/4 of them, when they come to the Emirates, when they go to the Etihad, when they go to Anfield, are going to all sit behind the ball. And maybe they then use all their analysis. I mean, I'm going off on one here, but maybe they use all their sort of percentages, their sort of statistics and stuff, and say, right, the way to actually win the Premiership or to win games is by... Because obviously, we look at like teams and we think of fast breaks and stuff like that, but Arsenal is so methodical, and they seem to wait to get so the other opposition gets right behind the ball, don't they? And then it's like, fucking hell, here we go again. We have to break them down. But maybe their analysts, their statisticians have worked it out that all the teams in the Premiership do that. So we're going to have to play we know that's what they're going to do. So we're going to have to play to break them down. Whereas in Europe, they're not used to the way we play. And 99 times out of 100, a lot of them are better. The Champions League is a higher level, so they're not going to sit back behind the ball. So it's a more of not an open game, but we look more relaxed. And I think someone else has alluded to this. Maybe someone on TalkSport, I can't remember who it was, and they were saying that in the Champions League there's less pressure. In Europe there's less pressure. In the FA Cups and stuff like that there's less pressure because it's kind of like a free-for-all and no one knows what they're doing to a degree. And that's my take on it anyway. I don't know if you ever thought about it that way, but definitely in Europe, it seems to be a bit more of an open game, and it's we've got the players to do well, and that's probably why we have been doing well. I don't know, maybe it's just stupid.
It's interesting though, because we sort of slate Arteta. When I say we, I mean definitely me and you, but we do slate Arteta about his rigidity in the league, but then you watch him in the Champions League and they're a bit more free playing, free flowing, and sometimes you just have to sit back and think, do you know what? Maybe this guy's got it worked out. Do you know, maybe he knows what he's doing because he's playing the way he plays in the Premier League. The boring and all that crap that people have been saying about Arsenal. But maybe that is the way to win. Like, you know what I mean? That is the way to do it. Whereas in the Champions League, going back to this match as well, teams don't really have time to sit back. It's 2 matches, at most it's 2 matches that you're going to play against one opponent, sort of thing. Obviously, unless you meet them in the later stages, but. So they don't have time for that. Whereas the league, being a 38 game, you kind of have to be a bit more methodical and strategize more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we see it in Formula One with the strategies. Obviously, that we're talking about one race that's 50 plus laps, for example. And the amount of strategy that goes into that, because no one has time to waste. So I feel like the Premier League is kind of similar, where you have to put in certain tactics or certain formations or certain players for certain games, for whatever the game stake is. So, but yeah, in the Champions League, it shows. We've scored many goals in the Champions League. I think it's only Barcelona that are sort of more than us. Well, I think obviously PSG may have surpassed us as well. But I'm just saying, like, compared to the Premier League, the Champions League, we're scoring a lot more goals, open goals, and. Yeah, it is a result of other teams from Europe just going, right, okay, I just don't have time to sit back. I need to win this to progress to the next level. If it's the final, then yeah, fair enough. You do whatever you can to win that final, like Mourinho style. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It is something that I don't want to say it's obvious or anything like that, because it obviously isn't, but it's clear to see every time he watches in Europe. It is clear to see how we play and how open we are, and even the players that just feel like they're given a lot more freedom because of it. In the Premier League, it's all about man to man, whereas here it's like you can afford to step away from your men because maybe they're not as quick. Like from the Bundesliga, they're not as quick as the Premier League, so maybe you can afford to take a few more risks. But yeah, I mean, with against Leverkusen, the first match, that I felt like they were a lot better. Excuse me 1 second, because I'm about to choke here. Wow, chokage. So I felt like they were a lot better. I gotta hit the mute button. So yeah, I felt like they were a lot better than this time around. Yes, they were at home. This time they were playing at the Emirates, and they've come to the Emirates before. They've been beaten at the Emirates before, and yeah, that could also be, there's a whole psychological side of it. But I don't really want to delve into that, because that's it's neither here nor there, to be honest. We're talking about team performances. But for me, from what I watched, it was just more of a, like I said earlier, it was just more of a mature performance, where it's like, okay, we have to get a job done here, but let's not go too crazy because they can't hurt us. And Kafane, their striker, he's still a bit of a nuisance. He still found himself in situations where he could have absolutely turned the game around. And that shot near the end, sort of thing, where Raya just out of nowhere got a palm to it, that was fantastic. So again, still a dangerous team. But that's why I say it was more of a mature performance. Like, we were kind of on top of it, but we could have probably gone up a couple more gears. That's the way I saw it anyway, from what I watched. But a lot of chances, though, right? A lot of shots.
I think there was a 20 odd, 21. I don't know. There's quite a lot. There was in the 20s, wasn't there? And so many on target. Their keeper had a bit of a blinder, to be fair.
He did. 21
it
shots.
Should have been more, like you say. It should have been 4 easy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a couple of the Trossard chances, they were very good. Obviously, there was that one where he sort of curled, which was a bit wide of the post. But a couple of his early ones, they were really good. He could have put us 2 up, really, just from early on. But yeah, 21 shots total, 12 on target from Arsenal, 2 from them, and but big chances created. It was 1 against 1. So how does that work? Big chances. How does that work? We scored 2 goals, right? So I don't get it. But anyway, flash scores, stats for you guys. Don't rely on these things. They're not real. But yeah. So even looking at the stats, the shots, the shot count, total domination. It wasn't, was it? It just, they found themselves in good positions, and I'm glad that they were taking shots, because it's something that we've always been critical of, and we haven't done much of this season. I know Eze a bit more recently, he's been putting balls away, but Trossard, he had the sort of bulk of the chances, to be fair with you. I thought he had a decent game. He made the pass for Eze. Now, before the Eze goal, right, there was a Rice and Saka link up that led to the Trossard shot, and it was, again, great save from their keeper. I can't remember what his name was, but that's the type of stuff, right, that I really want to see. Like, the supposed best players in our team, the Rice and the Sakas, right? You don't really hear much of them linking up, and that's the sort of thing that you need to do, like, you need to see more of. And again, Declan Rice, being the professional that he is and the sort of leader that he is, he sort of took it upon himself to put himself everywhere. He was everywhere yet again in that match, and he did get man of the match in the end, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, so I think and I'm pretty sure me and you agreed on Rice. I know you gave me 3 options, but I'm pretty sure we agreed on Rice. But yeah, sorry. I want to see a little bit more of that, especially in the Premier League, because they are very good players, and I don't understand sometimes like why they both go quiet, or one, like, Saka, for example. It's like, you've got the players around you, man. Use them. And this is. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about Saka, because it's just
not yet.
No, not yet. And look, Eze's goal. To make it 1-0 on the night. What do you think of it?
Loved it. Like Ali McCoist, I think, was eulogizing over it when it happened, because I think it was hit with such power, and it was a thing of beauty, really, wasn't it? The way he sort of swiveled and hit it on the volley. It was like, wow. I mean, it was the power. I think if the keeper, no keeper in the world would have saved it. It was just past him that quickly, and I think Eze, these last few games, because he's getting a run in the team, and Odegaard's out, and I don't, as much as I think Odegaard's a deep player, I don't want Odegaard to come straight back in when he's fit. Sorry, we'll talk about that at some point. I think Eze, you could see when he scored. It wasn't that like, he wasn't sort of, I've scored. It was like, I've arrived.
Yeah, this is me now.
I've arrived. That's what I can do. Yeah. Play me enough, and I'll do things like that.
Yeah.
And could it be the perfect opportunity for him to push on and to win us something with him coming into his own? Because Odegaard would not have done that. Havertz wouldn't have done that. Gyökeres might have already felt lucky. But he's the only player that can do something like that in our team. He's our only, if you like, he's our only player with the X factor, if you know what I mean. We haven't got Max Dowman, but he's not that confident yet. He likes to dribble and take like that and take players on, but he doesn't have that swagger. He doesn't have that confidence where he can say, look, I'm going to try that because I know I can do it. He's the only player in our team that's capable of it. So he needs to stay in the team, and Arteta needs to keep playing him. I hope he's not injured. I know he got come off, and they said, he came off as a precautionary, but it'd be a nightmare if he's out now for even a couple of weeks, because he'll miss Sunday. That's what we don't want. But
big game. I think with Eze, especially that goal, it was kind of, for me, it was kind of reminiscent of freaking, what's his face, Bergkamp / Henry style goal. Do you know what I mean? Just the confidence to. Yeah,
Henry would have done that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but
Bergkamp would have done it.
He did that. Was that against Tottenham in like 0-2 or something?
Power. Yeah, he did it against Man United, Henry, didn't he? When he flicked it up.
That's right. He flicked it up, wasn't it? Yeah, that's
outrageous,
right.
Outrageous.
That was. So, and Bergkamp has definitely done that a few times as well. Team slipped to mind, but he's definitely done that. Maybe West Ham or something like that. I can't remember.
I think he did it against Leicester at one point, but it wasn't a volley like that, I don't think. I don't know. Anyway.
My point is,
it's like a Letitia type of thing, wasn't it? Something Letitia would do, like volley things.
It was more about the creativity of and the confidence of having the balls to do that. It's just like, screw it. I'm just gonna see what happens, and it was just absolutely spot on. It was perfect as a shot, power, accuracy, everything was just brilliant. And the keeper just unfortunately stood no chance. Yes, he went that way, but the power that ball went in with, he just he wasn't going to break his fingers over that. So, but yeah, it was just a brilliant goal. And at that point, what is it, 2-1 on aggregate? And you kind of think, right, we're at home now. This is going to rile us up. And again, the difference that in the Premier League, even at home, we probably would have just slowed down a little bit or dropped back. And invited a bit more pressure. Whereas in the Champions League, we didn't do any of that. We just sort of went for it, really. It's like, okay, we need to really end this match now, and we did. Like I said, there was a lot of chances throughout the game. So it was something. It was a match where 100% could have been a lot more. But yeah, that is a goal. Like, even like I said in my notes, I put Bergkamp / Henry, because it was just like, oh my god, cracker of a goal. And another season in the Champions League where we score a fantastic goal, like obviously Declan Rice with his free kicks, now Eze with this. But yeah, so 1-0. How you feeling at this point? Are you confident?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was really, I don't know about yourself, but I was so confident that it was the start of it. And I know it took, it was the second half. I got the second one, wasn't it? Was it 1-0? Or was it? It was 1-0 at half time, wasn't it? Yeah, I didn't feel any doubt, really. I know they grew into it, and it was a bit like the first game where they scored first, didn't they? And they seemed to have they scored first in the second half, in the first, straight after the second half in the first leg. And as much as, like I said at the start of the show, that it was a tricky game, I felt confident that we were always going to win. But at the back of my mind, I always thought that they might have scored because they were dangerous. They had quite a lot of possession, and they had possessions, quite a lot, a spell where they had quite a lot of possession, and they had quite a lot of control. But then obviously Declan Rice coming to his own, and he sort of put the icing on the cake, really.
There's Declan Rice walking onto it. Declan Rice hitting it. Declan Rice scores his first Champions League goal of the season, and is that the goal to take Arsenal into the Champions League quarter-finals?
He did. And it wasn't even a shot, really, was it? It was just more of a long pass into the bottom corner. So, it was. It really was. And another one for the Bucks, really, in terms of a very good looking goal. Say not on the Eze levels, but it was still good enough. That what he did and the technique that he's got. Again, keeper sort of knew that it was going that way, but it was just through all the legs. It
started outside, didn't it? Yeah. It was like Roberto Carlos-esque.
Well, it was just like his second or first free kick against Real Madrid, where it looked he was going outside and curled back in. But 2-0 and pretty much game over, right? At this point, I know there was still a bit of match to go. Still about 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes, just under 30 minutes to go at this point, plus added time. But I don't think Leverkusen sort of knew they knew in their heart that it wasn't going to be their night, and it's not like they gave up or anything, because they're a professional team. But they didn't threaten as much, apart from near the very end, where, like I said, Cavani had a very good chance, and Raya just a brilliant save. But that's just what we do in our matches, isn't it? Like, if we're winning, last 5 minutes we make it very, very difficult for ourselves, because either we get tired or for some reason everyone starts dropping back just to see the match out, and then you think, well, wait a minute, these guys know how to play football. That's why we're in the Champions League, for God's sake. They're not just gonna be like, all right, guys, no worries, good fight. Let's just all go home now. I don't know, man. I'm glad that we're through, and Sporting next. I would have preferred Bodo Glimt, but you know, it is what it is. It's sort of written in the stars, isn't it, that Sporting are going to beat us.
Yes.
And Jokerit is going to be like, damn it, yeah, I made the wrong choice. Take me back, please. But yeah,
I mean,
go on.
No, I'm just thinking. Obviously, the way that we've been handed this side of the draw is like kind of it's dreamland, really, and maybe the stars are conspiring to say, look, if you don't do it, Arteta, look, we fixed it for you, and if you don't, you're sacked, because you couldn't really ask for an easier route. I mean, I know obviously potentially Barca, Atletico Madrid in the semis, but you couldn't really ask for a better route. We've avoided City, Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich. We've avoided them, apart from if we get to the final. So, yeah, I mean, I don't care who we get, really. I think we should really get to the final. There isn't any excuses, is there?
Well, look, man, it is the Champions League after all. Like, you know, nothing's guaranteed, and you know, you've seen lesser teams win it, so it's like, yeah, nothing guaranteed. But we're in a better chance. We have a better chance of winning it now than we ever did previously. And you know, when you take into consideration, like, you know, the next round of matches and who we've got. So, but yeah, nothing's guaranteed.
No,
so you know, it'd be interesting to see how far we go. I personally think we will reach the final. Who could we face in the final, by the way? Is it Bayern? Could be.
It's what? Sorry.
Who could we face in the final? Could it be Bayern?
It's Bayern or PSG, isn't it?
In the final,
or Real Madrid, or who's on the other side? So it's Liverpool. Yeah. So Liverpool Galatasaray. That side's kind of like, it's the group of death as such, isn't it? You wouldn't want to be in that side. So.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I was going to say, like, if I was any of their fans, I'd be like, right, no, this is not fair. I need to start a petition with UEFA about getting our teams in a better group.
Really.
Fuck's sake, man. And sometimes, look, I guarantee it. If we go on to win the Champions League, I guarantee they're still going to use an asterisk next to our name, because you had the easiest draws and other teams and blah blah blah. It's like, well, fucking hell, you're gonna give us an asterisk for the league because apparently no one deserves to win it, which is the most outrageous statement anyone's ever said in football. And you know what I mean? What the fuck are you talking about? And then the Champions League, we're gonna have another asterisk. It's like, bloody hell, what are you gonna give us here? Even in the Carabao Cup, if we win that, it's still gonna be an asterisk. It's like, well, you played a shit City side. It's like, what? What is going on? But
a City side that were like, they were going through a transition.
Yeah, transition, you know. Mate. Yeah. Because, you know, fucking when we won, we didn't get praise like that. We were going through a transition when we won the FA Cup in 2020. So, and we were way poorer than City, by the way. But anyway, we were still hated on. But that's just the history of Arsenal, isn't it? Really, we were always hated as a club, and I don't care. If we win the quadruple, right, everyone is going to have to shut their fucking mouths. Maybe apart from Liverpool, because they've won it multiple times, right? But the rest of them have to shut their mouths about Arsenal and just accept that we are who we are. So, but yeah, look, against the Leverkusen match, I don't really have much to add on the match that's of note or worthy, to be honest with you. Let me consult my notes real quick.
I think for me it was just it was job well done, really. You know, obviously we know we've got the final on Sunday in the back of our mind, and I thought he rotated well, but me personally, I think I sent you a note there, and I think a lot of people are cotton on to it, and I'd like to bring Darren Bent's message into this. Now, obviously, I've sent you the message about what he said, but we've been saying it for all season, really, and a bit of last season, and it makes me think. I know, obviously, mainstream journalists and media sports presenters and stuff, they've got to have a broad spectrum. They've got to look at all teams, they've got to look at all sports as such when they're on national radio. But with Benty, he's an Arsenal fan, and he through and through. So he does watch all the games, and I'm shocked. I mean, I know he's probably defending his fellow pros personally. That's the only thing I can think of. But he's seen it now, and he's said it, hasn't he?
Why don't you enlighten the listeners on what Darren Bent has been saying, just in case they haven't read it?
Well, he's basically saying that the game against Leverkusen, I think it might be this might have been bubbling up personally. I think he's seen it over the weeks, and I thought after last night's game, he's thought I'm going to have to come out and say it, because basically what Ben's saying is that Saka is a bit overeager at the moment. He's a bit desperate, which is what we've been alluding to all season and all last season. That he's kind of shooting when he should pass and pass when he should shoot. That's the crux of it, really. That's the bottom line.
The basics of it,
And he's right, and we've been saying it. We're not wanting to hate on Saka. I don't think it was his worst game, but it was just an average game for him. He didn't do anything great.
Yet again,
and this is why I thought Madueke would have started, especially being at home, and his trickery, and it's just so, I don't know. There's something about when I watch Saka, and I watch even a couple of Leverkusen's players, I thought, God, they've got more control than Saka. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't have that neat, close control when, he doesn't look confident. It looks a bit like he's got two wooden legs. Don't get me wrong, he's quite tricky and he's quite dangerous at times, and he has been really good for us, 2 or 3 seasons ago.
I mean, look,
I can't really explain.
I know.
There's something not right about him. With Madueke, when you look at the way he controls a ball, he has a bit of a skill. He tries to go one way, pretends to go the other, and it doesn't always come off. But he looks like he's got a lot more close ball control than Saka does. And Saka to me, he's really going down on my estimation, and I don't really want to bring it up all the time. Like we've said in the past, that we want him to get 9s and 10s out of 10s every game, or at least like 1 in 2 games, 1 in 3 games, but he isn't. And Bentley's seen it. I dare say Arteta probably is. Hey, look, he sees him every day in training. We only see him in the game. Maybe he's saving Madueke for the final. I don't know. But I personally would have played Saka in the final, because he's been there, done that kind of thing. I don't know.
We've said what we need to say about Saka in many episodes, and nothing's really changed since then, really, since the last time we talked about him. Not his worst game, but average is probably the word that springs to mind. I think he had, like I said, had a nice little link up with Rice, and I think he made something happen in the middle of the box where it was like everyone in there trying to get the kick, and I think there was a save from the keeper. So I think there was a couple of he finds himself in situations where you really want to find him, but it's that decision making that's not going his way. And obviously we've had criticism on YouTube, comments about comparing Saka and Madueke, but unfortunately the truth is the truth, and as much as we want to believe that Saka is that guy, unfortunately he is not that guy. And as soon as that's realised, not just by the fans, but even by from him himself, as we've said many times, he needs to know that there is other players in the team who are as good or probably better than him, who can help, so he doesn't need to do everything himself. Look, man, if other professionals are seeing it finally, then I think our job is pretty much done when it comes to Saka. But there is still a lot of Arsenal podcasts out there, and some of my favourites who are still defending and making justifications, but they are coming around now. They're going, I'm starting to get a little bit worried now. It's like, what do you mean now? Like, at what point in the season did you think it was going to be a turnaround? He's been trash all season. So I'm glad that professionals are seeing it, man, and I hope that builds something in Saka where he's like, I need to get on to this now and come out of this slump. But let's finish about Saka. Screw that guy. We talk about him too much. We spend too much time on him.
He's gone next season.
Fuck that guy. I do want to mention just 2 quick players. Gyökeres, what do you make of him in the Leverkusen match?
Yeah, very good. He didn't have much to go at, but I thought his hold-up play was really good. He was strong, and he did everything that you'd expect someone like that would do. He's done that from the start of the season since we signed him, and I do rate him, and I think he just brings other players in and he takes other defenders out, and his overall contribution to the team, to me, is exactly what we need.
It's been vital this season, hasn't it? Like we're deep enough into the season now to sort of make maybe that statement. Maybe it could be a bit of a bold statement from me, but I think he's been vital to the team and the way that we play. And even in the Leverkusen match, he was sort of making runs from the right and trying to get passes cut through sort of thing, from that right hand side. And I love seeing that because it's like he's not, he's definitely a lot more mobile now than he was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He's a lot more flexible now, and I like that. And again, when he picks up speed, he seems to have some speed behind him, but it's the acceleration that sort of lets him down a little bit. It's like, well, you are a heavy dude, so once you pick up speed though, you're going.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, I was quite impressed with him, and obviously in the Everton match, which we'll briefly touch upon very shortly, he was scored a goal. He's getting goals in the league. I'm not really bothered about him getting goals in the Champions League. Eze, Rice, Martinelli, they've been doing well there as well. And again, notice that we did not mention Saka once there about scoring goals. So. That's not hatred. That's just facts, isn't it? That is just the facts of it all. So, but yeah. So Gyökeres is very good. I really enjoy him, and I like now that he's adding the goals. He makes sense as a player more and more. And the second player that I wanted to mention, which we've sort of been doing for the past few episodes, is David Raya and some of the saves that he's making, man. Like, I know you're not his biggest fan, I know that, and listeners know that, but unfortunately you can't deny that he is probably one of the best keepers, if not the best in the league right now, right? I don't want to say Europe, but in the league right now, he has to be one of the best keepers, right? Defenders can only take you so far, but you have to do the rest. Like, the defenders cannot fingertip save shots. They can only do so much. So yeah, give me some thoughts, man. Give me some positivity about David Raya. You have to. Come on now.
Look, I'm giving him 10 out of 10 for his shot stopping last night, but still there's an error. I mean, there's errors in everyone's game. Look, no one's perfect. I mean, I think the best keeper in the world for me is probably Courtois for Real Madrid.
That's fair.
We're not going to get him. If we had him, I'd say we're going to win the Premiership. I think we'd win the quadruple if we had Courtois, but never mind. Anyway, I know that every player, every keeper, whoever you are, you've all got an error in you. And David Raya's, for me, his distribution is questionable, to say the least. And you've seen it many times. We've said it. I mean, I'm sick of saying it now. He passes to players with 3 or 4 players around him, and I'm thinking, aren't you seeing that? Can't you see the fact that there's 3 or 4 players about to jump on him effectively? Just play it out wide.
I will give you that, by the way, yeah, with his passing to the wrong, or making that wrong decision when there's 3 players around. But
he's not confident. He's not confident. His distribution is when he's on the ball. I'm thinking, he got away with it. I think he got away with it against Everton, which we might come on to. But he was at fault, and they should have given him an indirect free kick at one point because he rolled the ball out when his hand was outside the box. Then, if you saw that, it was about a foot outside the box, and I thought, well, what are you doing? He's just a bit nervous. He's just a slight upgrade to Ramsdale. Ramsdale was good at shot stopping and things like that. No. I was all for Raya, and I didn't rate Ramsdale. And you might go back to the very first pods and stuff like that, but I wasn't a fan of Ramsdale, and I was glad that I thought Raya is definitely an upgrade. But they both have their moments. I think Raya is slightly better as a goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but we came second with Ramsdale, if you remember. We had a great season with him.
We did.
It was just the season after we sort of capitulated. But no, Raya, you're right, he's an upgrade, but there's just something about him that I'm not. I think if we had a better keeper that was calm on the ball, I can't think of. Anyway.
Because I don't think Courtois is that good with his feet
no, he's not. He's all right
to replace Raya, to be honest. And his shot stopping is comparable to Raya as well. He's a big dude though. He's a big bloke. So like, he's got that going for him. That is a big advantage for a goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong. And Raya's not the tallest of guys. Like what, 6 foot or just on? No, 6 foot.
He's about 6 foot. Isn't
6 foot, isn't he? So that's short in goalkeeping terms. Because you look at Donnarumma, like you say, you look at Courtois, they're big. So they've got that advantage. That Mamadashvili for Liverpool, Alisson, they're big guys. So when you take that into consideration, that's why I feel like Raya is a massive upgrade on Ramsdale. By the way, like I know you question his distribution, but once he gets rid of that sort of panic moment where he's like, oh shit, I can see the player, I'll pass it to him without even looking. He's like sort of tunnel vision, isn't he? That's how he passes. It's like, oh, I can only see my player, but I can't. Apparently you can't see the opposition. So once he removes that from his game and doesn't panic like that, I feel that he'll be a complete keeper. He is very good. Like, he's got the long throws. If he's got a long distribution in terms of, sort of long pass, he can make those. We've seen him make those. For Martinelli, for example, he loves doing that when they're running behind. He's done it for Jesus before. So, again, that's why I feel like maybe you're not giving him too much credit, which is fair. You see him in a different way. There's no right or wrong answer really. It's just the way that you look at him and what you expect from a goalkeeper, or what you expect, what your sort of vision of a perfect goalkeeper is. But yeah, definitely a massive upgrade on Ramsdale, and I think he could definitely be a shout of or a candidate for player of the season, to be honest with you. He has been absolutely fantastic, and not just one save or two, he's done a few this season which have been incredible. But yeah, look, all right, I'm done with the Leverkusen match.
I just want to mention one more player for the Leverkusen game, which is obviously Hincapié.
Yes, fair.
I know I keep going about him. I really do rate this guy, and
he's ours, isn't he? Really,
he's completely different to everything that we've got on our defence. He's no Timber. He's no Saliba. Them two are kind of like cool, calm and collected defenders, aren't they? Saliba and Timber. Gabriel's a mixture of Hincapié and Saliba. And
it's a nice transition, isn't it? From Saliba, Gabriel to Hincapié.
You go complete animal in Hincapié. Yeah. Then so you could probably name the animals. So, but it just gets less and less as you go along. Maybe Saliba should be last because he's really cool. But then again, Timber is as well. But Hincapié for me, he's just an absolutely unbelievable defender, and I just love his enthusiasm, his tenacity, and I said to the start of the season, if he stays fit, he'll win us. Him alone is going to contribute so much to our title success, cup success or whatever. Just everything he does, and you can sense the crowd love him, don't you? Because every tackle he does, there's uproar as such. It's just fantastic to watch. No nonsense, straight in. No messing about, no sitting back. It's just bang, you're out. When he knows he can get close to the ball, he's in for it and tackles, and it's brilliant.
We've almost adopted him, haven't we, as an Arsenal fan base and squad and community. It's like you're a lone player, but you are one of ours. It's like you were meant to be. You are finally home.
He's definitely signing for us.
Yeah, Piero Hincapié, you are finally home, my friend. You have found the place to be. So I think that's going to get finalised hopefully very quickly in the summer. Just because I don't want them wasting time about how much it's going to cost and when we're going to sign him and blah blah blah. Just get it over and done with. You should have the paperwork ready by now, to be honest with you. Have them ready and get that shit signed up, and there's no more confusion, so he doesn't have to rent his house out or whatever he's doing, sublet it to some fucking other Leverkusen player. Right, look, before we obviously close for the evening, I do want to mention a bit of the Everton match. I don't want to talk about individual bits. It's just there's literally one thing or two things that we can discuss here, but before we go on to the thing that we're going to discuss, Gyökeres, he was the guy who pretty much got us the winner for the Everton match. I know obviously Dowman finished it off, but Gyökeres was the guy who got us the winner, and mate, it wasn't the best of goals. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
it wasn't the best. Look, mate, we both. I'd had enough.
That was a terrible performance, wasn't it?
I think I mentioned to you that I can't. I'm done with us. I was really at the point where I didn't want to watch anymore. I thought, look, that's it. Regardless of whether they win anything, I was done. I was really done with how bad we played. You know, can you give credit to Everton? I suppose you can. They've got, is it the second best defence in the league away from home? I don't know, or the best defence. You know, are we giving Arsenal too much stick? But I was really fed up after that, watching that game. It was just like, I was thinking, no, this is it. You know, City are going to go on and close the gap to sort of 5 points with the game in hand, and it was just desperate times. And Gyökeres, if it wasn't for Gyökeres, obviously we wouldn't have spoke about the second goal. But I can say, I'm really impressed. Gyökeres is doing everything that he was asked to do. Was top of the league. And he's the missing link so far.
Well, there you go again. Yeah, it's a nice callback from the Champions League match, what we just discussed earlier. So, but yeah, look, in the Everton match, the Gyökeres goal was the one that won it, like I said. The Calafiori Scorpion defending. I mean, look, I know you're not his fan again, but you have to admit that was some incredible defending. The fact that he used every single part of his anatomy to keep that ball out, I thought it was brilliant. Like, just commitment.
You're about the long-haired liability.
Well, he goes by Calafiori, I think, and it was a fantastic block, man. You can't deny that. You have to just look. If nothing else, just be like, yep, it was good, and let's just move on, right?
Can you not see what I'm doing, everybody? I am holding my hands in the air, and I agree 100% that Calafiori. Whether Raya would have saved it, I don't know. That's another question. But it was a inadvertent, or whatever you want to call it, scorpion kind of retrieval, and it was fantastic. I don't know why he had to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's the only thing he could do, but I think Raya was the one who caused that, because Calafiori would have just headed it clear, but Raya actually saved it and put it into fucking. Who was it? O'Neill's? Was it O'Neill?
McNeil?
Can't remember.
McNeil, wasn't it?
McNeil, sorry.
Yeah, McNeil, I think,
He actually put it. I was like, what on earth are you grabbing it for? But, he didn't know, but he should have had it been this is another thing. Raya should have had the awareness that there was no one behind him. His defender was there. This is what you do. The ball comes in, you quick look, and I just. No, we're talking about Calafiori, and great sort of upside down scorpion, which I hold my hands in the air, and I thought it was a great retrieval, and I thought he had half a decent game, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. I thought it was very good, to be honest, and you know how I feel about Calafiori, and at the same time, I have criticised him when the time has come, but overall, I feel like he's been very good for us this season when he's been injured and on a
shit against Mansfield.
When he's been on a consistent run of games, he's very good. But then once he comes back from injury, there's a whole bedding in what am I trying to say? There's a whole bedding in. What am I trying to say? Yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Trying to bed him in, I guess. I don't know. It's too late.
Like a new player getting bed into.
Exactly.
I don't know what we're talking about bed. Maybe tires.
Bedding, hotels. I don't know. Whatever it is.
But
plants. Apparently, yeah, sure. Why not? Maids, no. So the bedding in period. That's what I'm trying to say. There you go. That's the wording. But so
it's similar, isn't it?
So we were there. We were there or thereabouts. It is what it is. Okay. But yeah, sorry, Calafiori. When he's consistent run of games, he's very good. Injury again, it just takes him a bit longer to actually get back into it. And at that point, sometimes if we have, like in Capia, for example, if he has been very good, he will keep him out of the team. But yeah, that Scorpion defender was fantastic, man. And Havertz's penalty shout, what do you make of it, real quick? Because sorry, I know I messaged you. I was like, "What the hell is this clown doing? What is this donkey doing, falling to the ground?" But then you watch the replay. What did you make of it? Was it a penalty or was it not a penalty?
Yeah, it was a penalty.
It was, wasn't it? It was a penalty. Like, I take back what I said about him being a donkey. But my question is, was it enough for him to go on the ground and not carry on and take the advantage of actually going towards goal? That's what I want to know.
I think with with Havertz and my criticism of Havertz, look, I think he struggled, to be fair, as he's come back. You can see he's completely not match fit. Yep. He is struggling.
Slow all match. That's what I've literally got in my notes here, by the way. Slow all match. So, yeah. Slow all match.
Yeah, against Everton, To be fair, just quickly before I go back to the penalties in it, I thought he was really rapid last night. When he came on, he chased the ball down the corner. I thought, fucking hell, he's fast. He looked really fast. He sprinted. It's the first time I've seen him sprint. But
it's that Champions League juice, man. You know what I mean? It's the juice that they've got in the bottles. It's the Champions League juice bottle.
Old team. No, but I think my criticism of Havertz in the past has been he does go down like he's being shot, and I think the refs have wised up to his kind of acting as such. He does tend to fall over quite easy theatrically, if you like, and that's probably coming back to haunt him. And you know, it was a penalty, but I think it's the way it looked like he'd been pulled back, tripped up from his neck down, but he hadn't stood on his foot. But that, regardless, it is a penalty. But the fact that they decided it wasn't a penalty after 3 seconds shows you how corrupt this place is, this VAR malarkey. And luckily, you know, we got away with it. Eventually we did. But, I mean, come on, if it had been 0-0 and that had have happened, that would have been the ultimate number one topic of the weekend, wouldn't it, if we hadn't have gone on to win it.
Yeah, and I agree. It was a contentious, very contentious call from VAR, and the fact that they just pretty much dismissed it. It was pretty harsh, to be honest. But like I said, for me, it's the annoying thing of, could you not have just, you know, got your feet together and potentially made it into a chance, you know, instead of falling over and then hoping to get a penalty sort of thing. So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, that's what I was pissed off about. It's like, you know, in a match where we need to do something and we haven't been very good, this is not what we need right now from Havertz. Him falling like a fucking ass clown. But yeah, when you look back at the replay, it was 100% he got caught. Like, it was soft again, but it's a penalty. It should have been a penalty. So, you know, it's. Yeah, but same criticism as you as well with Havertz. It's like, just stay on your feet, man. You are strong. There's no reason for you to trying to buy a free kick or whatever it is. So, you know, and obviously the Timber injury, we mentioned that a bit earlier in the episode. And look, man, to close out the match.
Oops, sorry.
Hey, we're gonna get copyrighted. Hey, yeah, we're gonna get copyrighted with that shit. YouTube's gonna pick up on that straight away. What are you trying to sneak that in there, boys? But yeah, look, close out the match in a fantastic way. They have a corner. Jordan Pickford goes up, and I'm thinking, all right, whatever. I had a vision of Jordan Pickford actually getting his head on the corner and scoring, to be honest with you. I was like, I can't be dealing with this shit.
It was always written, didn't it?
Right. You know what I mean? And it's Jordan Pickford is the captain, and it's like, I am the fucking leader. And he goes up, and then a moment of magic, really, isn't it? From Gyökeres, Martinelli, and then eventually Max Dowman, who ran the length of the pitch. Now, for me, it wasn't even the impressive thing. Wasn't even like, you know, that he had the goal open to himself. For me, it was that shimmy that he did on. Is it Mikalenko?
No, it was.
It was a shimmy that he did on.
Mikalenko tried to bring him down.
Yes, and he failed there. Yeah.
And it was the other midfielder came from Chelsea. He was on loan at Chelsea, wasn't he? He didn't make it at Chelsea. Then they sold him to Everton.
Right.
I can't remember his name.
His name?
It's a long, double-barreled name, isn't it?
Oh, Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he just, the way that he shimmied across Dewsbury Hall, quick left and right.
Left him on his back, didn't he?
It was fantastic to watch, and obviously the open goal. People may criticize, it was an open goal, but like, I'm sorry, what? Have you ever tried to shoot straight into an open goal with, like, you know, with that much pressure on you at 16? I haven't. I've never experienced that shit in my life, so I don't know how much pressure there is there, but it couldn't have been easy. It couldn't have been easy. But for me, that was the most impressive thing, that the 16-year-old just absolutely managed to shrug off a fully grown man who was trying to take him down, and then made an experienced midfielder look stupid, and then he has an open goal to himself. So I don't know. What do you think of it overall, man?
Yeah, I was. I think obviously we shared the sort of conversation and the text and stuff like that. But yeah, like you say, I thought when it was 1-0, I saw Pickford go up and they got a corner, and I thought this has got like 1-1 written all over. This is Arsenal through and through. And was it Gyökeres that got the clearance header to it? I think it was, wasn't it? Did Gyökeres get? He got the clearance header, then it went up in the air, didn't it?
And then Martinelli headed it.
It came back in. Sorry, it came back in, and then Martinelli got that header over above Jordan Pickford. Half expected Pickford to go with his hand to try and get it off Martinelli's head, but I mean, it was just absolutely sublime, wasn't it? I mean, I remember my thoughts when I was watching it was thinking, am I really watching this? It was an oh my god moment, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. It really was brilliant.
And I think I might have sent it to you. It was probably one of the best moments of the Emirates era, really. I can't remember anything making me feel as, because I don't know if I went through every emotion on that game. I went from the depth of despair, thinking this is it, I don't want to watch this ever again, to I am absolutely like orgasmic at the moment. It was just like
it was
wow.
That's a good way.
I know we haven't won anything
it.
yet. We haven't won the Champions League. We haven't won the Premiership. But it just felt that something was just released from me. Whether you are the same, I felt that massive shoulder, the weight off my shoulders, and I thought, wow. And I laughed when I was watching it. I've watched it a few times, and I don't know if you've watched it. Where
yes, a few times.
He gets past Dewsbury Hall, and as soon as he's past Dewsbury Hall, you see Gyökeres, and Gyökeres is running behind doing that.
Yeah. He already knows what's happening.
Martinelli's next to him and Saka's on the other side.
Martinelli,
you see Gyökeres do that.
Martinelli is funny because you see him sort of run towards Mikalenko trying to block him off, and I love that.
His neck, doesn't he?
I love that. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, he's trying to grab his neck, but it was too late by then. But I thought that was some NFL play right there. That's what that was. You know, just sort of protecting your runner, and it was. And again, that added to the Gyökeres celebration. It shows the team, and obviously the bench just absolutely erupted. There's a slow motion video where you can read fucking Arteta's lips where he goes "puta madre," where he's sort of facing the crowd, and you think this guy is absolutely just unleashed here. Obviously there's that thing where he took his jacket off, and someone said on social media, they were like, I'm pretty sure he's not going to put that jacket back on now because he just sort of unleashed himself for the end of the season. But yeah, it was fantastic, man. It really was. The whole bench just sort of ran up. The kick to the flag, everything about that moment was just brilliant to witness live. Obviously, it would have been better if we were actually there in that corner, but watching it live happen, it was brilliant. And what a way that life sort of brings it round full circle, right? As I messaged you, I was like, Rooney scored in 2002 against Arsenal. At 16, whatever it was, and then Max Dowman in 2026 scores against Everton, and David Moyes involved in both matches.
And isn't it 24 years since we last won it, or 23?
So we last won 23, 24, wasn't it? So 22 years, right?
Yeah,
22 years. So,
and when was Dowman born?
Oh, God knows.
He's 16, isn't he?
16 now. So what is that?
2010?
2010? Wow, that's crazy. I finished fucking college in 2010.
Rooney wasn't even born when Rooney scored that wonderful goal against.
His parents weren't even. Bizarre, his parents hadn't even met. His parents were probably in their 20 or something. They were probably in their early 20s or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so that was just brilliant. It was like a serendipitous sort of moment, wasn't it? Where everything sort of came back round, and it was good. It was really, really good. And look, before,
I think you said to me, didn't you? I think obviously, sorry to interrupt, but it felt like that was it was a moment then, wasn't it? Like you and me both kind of felt it, that it seems like we could win it this year.
This was special. This was very, very special, man. Yeah, that was a feeling that I haven't had in a long time yet. Yeah.
The relief. And I think I mentioned to you that if we win and City don't win, I think that it is our tale. I said that before the game, and I think Merson had said it as well, but I didn't see that. But only afterwards, he felt the same way, that if City didn't get 3 points and we won, he thinks it was done.
Yeah.
And I was under that impression as well. And I know that if they beat us at the Etihad and they beat us and they win the game in hand, then it's still 3 points.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that can happen between the time we play them and that game in hand. They might not win that game in hand, and they might draw us, or they might lose another game, and we really need like something like 15 or 16 points
to actually make it. Yeah.
Out of
21.
21 is it?
I think for us is 21. Yeah, 21 for us. Well, yeah. 24,
so we need say 5 wins or 4 wins and 3 draws or something like that. Which, if we can't do it, then I think we will.
I think
I'm
we
still
will.
not 100%. I'm not 100%. I'm probably 80%.
No. Yeah, I'm closer to the sort of 85 mark, 90 mark, that sort of thing. But yeah, I agree. And the fact that obviously I'd rather have the points than the game in hand, in all honesty, because anything can happen. They could lose that game in hand, lose to us, and then that's all she wrote for them, isn't it? Then there is no chance.
If we beat them at their place, I mean, I think that would probably be game over anyway.
Most likely, yeah. I think maybe 1 or 2 matches to be played that sort of will seal the deal. But yeah, I think there was a whole thing where if they face Crystal Palace, which is I think their game in hand, isn't it? Is it Palace they've got?
Yes.
If they face Palace before they face us and they lose and we win or something, we could win it at the Etihad or some. There was some crazy stat that went around, but again, a few things have to fall into place for that to happen. So and obviously we do have a cup final. Last thing I want to say on the Everton match, by the way, before we come to wrap it up, there was an interesting stat on Sky that said the substitutions that we've made this season, they've contributed goals and assists. 21 goals and assists they've contributed, and
that's the most, isn't it, or something?
Yeah. So it was on it. And I love that fact. Because when you consider where we were 2 seasons ago with not many players in the squad, no one to really bring on and struggling late on in matches, and then to see a stat like that, just complete change. Look, man, I know we've had our problems with Arteta for certain things, but you can't deny that he has been an incredible manager for us in the time that he's been here. And if he wins and finally wins the league or Champions League or both or the quadruple or whatever, that will only cement that he's been a great manager for us, and that would probably make him legend status, wouldn't it, if we won the Champions League? So
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, of course not, absolutely not. But I'm sorry, my point being that he has absolutely transformed us, and when he was saying that he needed the players a couple of seasons ago, he was like, I need more players to build the squad. He got the players, and it's shown as well. Do you know what I mean? The substitutions, especially coming on, it's shown that there is something there. Martinelli comes on, Trossard does the same thing. He's come off the bench and scored. Eze's done the same thing. So yeah, it's really good to see that the squad is pretty much complete, apart from that left winger. We need a starting left winger, which Kvaratskhelia, he is the guy for us, and there is just...
I doubt we'll get him, but I'd love to get him, but I don't think we will.
Spend the money, whatever it is. Like 25-year-old, isn't he, or some shit like that? You got to spend the money, man. If you're serious about carrying on a legacy, or a legacy, then you need to start spending big on those types of players. If
we win something this year, whether it be the Mickey Mouse Cup, the FA Cup, Champions League, Premiership, if we win something, we can't rest on our... I wouldn't want us to go into the new season with no additions. I don't want sort of backups. I don't want Norgard type players. I want like for like. Like this season, I thought we would have had majority like for like, and we have in most positions, barring midfield. And that's where I want to see us. I know there's talk of us getting Livramento and Anthony Gordon and someone else from RB Leipzig. I can't remember his name now. Some sort of defender, and I'm all for that. But I want Arteta to look at the likes of Rice and Zubimendi and think, right, I want someone who is going to push them, and if they get into the team, I want them to stay in. Maybe it's Tonali or someone like that, I don't know. Or
Tonali's a good shout,
or whatever.
It's a good shout.
And it would be nice to think that we have got at the moment we've got 2 players, but we haven't got like for likes, have we? Like we've got Trossard and Martinelli, which are very similar kind of thing in ability wise. We've got Saka and Madueke, Gyökeres, Havertz, and the defence we've got Calafiori, Hincapié, and on the right wing we've got blah blah blah, central defence, we've only got Mascara, haven't we?
Mascara, but then again, don't forget Calafiori can fill into that gap, and Capia can fill into that gap as well. So,
but I do think that maybe the midfield is somewhere where we need to definitely strengthen in the summer. And I know there's sort of that Goretzka guy, but he was only being another kind of upgrade on Norgard. I don't think there's anything to write home about.
If anything in the midfield, if you're going to do anything, you're going to have to get an upgrade for Martin Odegaard, and I know that's going to be expensive, but that's where the upgrade for me. That's where it needs to come.
Adegula.
Don't rate him at all, to be honest. And in the Premier League, he will get absolutely slapped about. So no,
it's just too similar, isn't he?
Yeah. He's very, very soft and sort of fairy-like, and it's not someone that
it's
we need.
Morgan Rogers, I want.
Yeah, well, Rogers.
Just because he's Premiership proven, so and he would absolutely be brilliant for us.
He's so good. Yeah, exactly. Put him there. He's very good. He's a robust player. He's very strong.
Yeah.
He's very good technically. He can shoot from the outside. He's not afraid to take people on. He always faces goal, to be honest. So that's a conversation that we're definitely going to have potentially during the summer and at the end of the season, whatever happens. So yes, we do have a cup final on Sunday. Is it Sunday? Saturday? Sunday?
Sunday 4:30.
Sunday at Wembley.
Bloody Sunday.
My God, it could get bloody with all the blood of the Manchester City players. No. Okay, what do you think is going to happen? Like, are you happy with? Well, it's going to be a full strength, isn't it? Do you think it's okay? Let me rephrase that. Do you think it's going to be a full strength team for a final, a Carabao Cup final?
I think obviously Man City, they got knocked out of the Champions League last night. They got beat 2-1 at home. I know Bernardo Wank-faced Silva got sent off, which I fucking hate him. I wish he was banned for this game on Sunday, but no. It's going to work too. It's either or, isn't it, sometimes? When City get beat, they normally come back stronger with a vengeance. That's my only concern. I know it's against us. We're top of the league, and the mind games have started already with Pep saying that Arsenal are the strongest team in Europe at the moment on current form, etc., etc. I'll just take that with a pinch of salt. I'm sure Arteta will be having the conversation with the players that you go out there and you be professional, you do what we do every week, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, really. I mean, they drew 1-1 with West Ham, which was a fantastic result for us. And I'd like to think we were better than West Ham. But it's a one-off game at Wembley, and they've got something to prove. You know, it's the first chance of silverware. They're not going to win the Champions League because they're out. Probably not going to win the Premiership, but they won't give up. But it's highly unlikely that they're going to win it now. So this is potentially their only chance of silverware this season.
They're still in the FA Cup as well, right?
Sorry,
they're still in the FA Cup, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got Liverpool haven't in the FA Cup, which can go either way, can't it?
That's a whole different problem, yeah.
Realistically, to them, this is their only shout of silverware, and that's my only concern. And I didn't want to say that to you because I didn't want you to then think, shit, fucking hell, yeah, he's right.
No, look, it's something that I hope the Arsenal fans are thinking about, because City are definitely no mugs, mate. And the fact, like what you just said there, it just makes sense for them to go all out against Arsenal and just make sure that they win it. But I don't know. I mean, they could do that, but then it could just absolutely backfire, because maybe we go into that game a bit more chilled, thinking, well, okay, look, yes, this is a final, but we've potentially got another 2 finals to go yet. Premier League 3 finals, whatever, however you want to look at it. So I don't know. It's sort of mentally, I don't know what to make of this match, to be honest with you. It's like, I agree 100% with what you're saying about City and the way that they'll go into it. But how does that affect us? How are we going to go into this match? That's where I'm at. Like, that's what I want to know. I mean, any ideas? It's like, you don't talk to anyone at Arsenal, but like, any sort of explanations, anything to lighten it for me.
It's so difficult, because to me it's a Mickey Mouse. It's the least important out of all of the competitions we're in. But for City, it's the most important, I think.
Yeah.
For us, it's the least, and that psychologically, to me, could play on the player's mind, because we don't play in the league now for fucking hell. I think it's like 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, isn't it? Everyone, I think, because it's the FA Cup next weekend, isn't it? After this weekend.
Oh, isn't it? I thought it was international break, wasn't it? Or is it not international break after the FA Cup?
Let's have a look.
Because I'm pretty sure there's an international break coming up.
It's the FA Cup, isn't it? Let's have a look. So Sunday the 22nd is our cup final.
Yeah.
And then Saturday after that is... Yes. So there's no games. There's no games next week. So this is the last game, then it's the international break.
Yeah. And then
it's the FA Cup weekend. Yeah. And then it's the league. So yeah. So... They could be thinking that, the players could be saying, look, we haven't got a game for 3 weeks now, or whatever it is, which is a bit shit, really.
Let's go and win this, right?
Let's go all into it and go into the international break on a high.
I
can't call it, mate. I really can't call it. Look, I want to win. It's not. I think if I was City and I lose it, I'd be more depressed as a City fan losing it than I am if being an Arsenal fan losing it, because we have bigger fish to fry, if you understand what I'm saying. Because we know that we've got the Premiership, the Champions League, and the FA Cup still to look forward to. City only have this, so if we lose, I'd be depressed, but it's not the end of the world, if you know what I mean.
True. It's just, again, how does that affect the team mentally, where the first final of the season they lost it, and to a rival that they've had trouble with before? And what if in the FA Cup we end up getting City in the final, for example? We go all the way to the final, and is that scenario going to play out again?
But as long as you win the Champions League and the Premiership, I don't care.
No, but that's true. That's true. But then those are the two most difficult titles to get. Whereas these are the sort of the lower, you've got a higher chance of winning one of these than you do the league, for example. So
unless you come up against City.
Yeah, so again, that's why I say mentally, I'm not saying that they are better than us or anything like it. I think we have been the better team this season. But again, it's, those players are primed final players, and we don't really have that many of them in our team. I think, from what I've seen of Arteta in the 6 years, I think the mentality that he'll go into this, he'll be like, right, lads, like you said as well, Stevie, you've got 3 weeks after this. Let's win our first final. Let's get it over and done with. Get one final out of the way. Let's win this trophy, and then we move on to the next. And then the FA Cup, I don't really care if we make the final or not. And then it will become about the Premier League or the Champions League. Obviously both, if we can. But okay, before we do wrap it up, then give me a quick scoreline prediction. I know it's arbitrary, but let's just fucking
just quickly. I've got a quick point to say about that. So, listen, if we lose. This is going to sound so bizarre. I don't want to lose, right? But if we lose, there's two caveats to this. That it's not a Premiership, so we haven't lost in the Premiership, and they haven't gained 3 points. And there's 3 weeks before we play, or 2 weeks before we have another game, which is the FA Cup against Southampton, and then it's the league after that. So there's a long time for us to recover mentally. Now, if we win it, great. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it's the first trophy and we haven't won anything for so long. But I know it sounds bizarre, but I'm not asked if we lose it. I'm not going to, normally if we lose in the Premiership, I'm absolutely, the Premiership for me is the 100% is the one I want. I want the Champions League, but it's a Premiership to me. I've said this all along. And when we lose or draw in the Premiership, I'm fucking devastated. I'm really depressed all weekend. The kids get it, the dog gets it, the wife gets it. Everything, right? I'm fucking fucked for the week. I can't stand it. But with the League Cup, I don't know. I just to me, it's a 50-50 toss of the coin. I want to win it. I'm not asked if we do. So that's me on that. But just a quick one. I know we're going to go on to predictions. Mm-hmm. What do you think's happening with Gabby Jesus? I
think Arteta's seen enough of him when he's been back, and he's been like, right, okay, I'm going to go sell you, I'm afraid, because you are not the guy for me anymore. I think he served his purpose. He's definitely 1 or 2 steps behind where he was for us a couple of years ago before that World Cup. So I think I think it's in everyone's interest that he gets moved on. In all honesty,
we can still get some money for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's on big wages. I'm sure you can get like a 10 mil, 15 mil for him, sort of max. It's not.
Thought maybe a bit more, but we never know.
I don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest. Yeah, it's Arsenal. It's Jesus, injury prone, and even when he has played, it's not like he's been fantastic. You know, he again, like I said, one or two steps behind where he was before. So yeah, I think best interests for everyone, just get him moved on. It's harsh to say it, but shit, you know, we want to win. We want to win leagues and stuff. You know, we want players who are there to win leagues and who are more consistent and play more minutes and stuff. So yeah, that's the way I look at Jesus at the moment. I don't even want to really see him playing anymore. To be fair, he takes up. I feel like he's the type of player that's taking up other players' time. So. Yeah, that's the way I look at Jesus, my friend. He
was on the bench though, wasn't he, last night? He's been on the bench for a few times, but just never come on, has he?
Yeah, and I think it's more to do with the numbers than anything else. So, you know, to have the numbers on the bench rather than actually him being good. But you know, sometimes in the Champions League, a player like him could come on and make a difference, man. You know, right at the end, he could get that feeling, that vibe of, oh, I'm in the Champions League semi-final, for example, so I'm gonna have to step up my game. So I'm not saying he's useless, no, by all means, no, but I don't think he should be taking other players' time in the team, unless obviously he's the only option. So yeah, sorry, scoreline prediction from you, by the way, what was it?
Because I'm not arse, I think we're gonna get beat. I'm gonna say 3-1.
Jesus Christ. Wow. I'm not even going to question that right now. I think we should talk about that on Sunday evening. But yeah, I was going to go 1-0 Arsenal. But you just totally slapped me out the water there.
I think they're going to absolutely piss on us.
No, I don't think so. I understand what you're saying, but we're too strong for that, I'm afraid. Unless he obviously puts out kids, and then, yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
I think they've got more to play for and more to prove, and I just think they're going to raise the game to such a level that we're going to be caught in the headlights, and I think it'll be probably a 1 or 2-0 quite quickly. We'll gather our thoughts and we might score, but we'll be going for an equaliser and they'll catch on the break. I can see it, mate, honestly. I can see it. I think we're going to get beat. I know 3-1's probably a bit harsh on us, but hey ho, I think we're going to get beat. But I'm not asked if we get beat. Like you say, I'd rather we get our defeat off them out the way now and then beat them in the league.
Beat them where it matters. Yeah, that's also a fair point.
But I'd rather win. Don't get me wrong, everybody out there. Obviously, we want to try us losing, but. Yeah.
And it's a final as well, so I just feel like we need to win because it could help us mentally for other finals that could be coming along. So yeah, 1-0 for me, but we will wait and see. We will be back on Sunday evening, or maybe straight after the match, depending on obviously on timings and whatnot. But I'm a bit freer now. I will be a bit freer on the weekend, so we could do that then. And Stevie, we will leave it there. We will get this episode out for everyone to listen to for their ear holes, for their pleasure and whatnot, and just to hear our
assholes.
Oh, don't listen with your assholes. It's not hygienic.
This is the moment of the week for all you gaylords. Week, but you know, there's only one moment of the week, which is probably. It
still counts. Yeah, it's Eze's goal, isn't it? Oh, no. Max Dowman, you mean? Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Max,
of course it is. Of course it's Max Dowman.
I'll get that in, yeah.
Of course it's Max Dowman, for God's sake. Yeah, I'll put that in moment of the week, absolutely. And people know what to expect by now. So, yeah, be prepared for that.
Hopefully they'll be listening to it and the moment of the week will come on because we'll start talking about it. So
that's what I'm saying.
This is the end of it now. So we just want to delete this bit out if you want.
Yeah, well, we're going to get rid of this shit. But anyway, yeah, so everyone thank you. Send us out, Stevie, yeah.
Au revoir. Oui, si, arrivederci.
Love it.